Hi, so I'm just going to give you a quick overview of Storyline. So when you open it, this is the screen you'll see. You'll have some recent projects that you might have worked on here, some tutorials in the middle, and over here you have the option to either import, and if I click that I have the option to import PowerPoint. So if you're importing your PowerPoint that you've already created, that's where you'd go. If you're creating directly into Storyline, you'd click on New Project. So I'm going to click on New Project as there's already a document there explaining how to import a PowerPoint. So once you click on New Project, it brings you to here. This is called the Scene View. So it will show you an overview of all of the slides that you're going to create. And there's some like settings over here for the slide properties, but we'll look at that later. So what you want to do is double click the slide. That'll bring you into the slide view. So in the slide view, if you think of it as PowerPoint, you'll go quite far with it. So the top bar is very similar to PowerPoint. So you've got your home, insert, design. So you can see like insert, there's pictures, shapes, the design is the same as PowerPoint. You've got your transitions, you've got your animations. But there are other things in here as well. So over here you've got triggers and slide layers. And down here you have the timeline, states and notes. I'm not going to go into what every single one of them is. There'll be other documents or videos describing them. This is just to give you a really quick overview of what they are. So slide layers, for example, so I'll just bring up a sample. So a layer is just something that will appear on the slide when the user does something. So for example here, the World Tourism and Fall to Ireland are buttons, and when the user presses that button, this layer over here will appear, so showing this information. And then when the user presses the Fall to Ireland button, this information will appear. That's all they are, is just extra information that you can make appear depending on what the user does. And actually I'm just bringing it back in there because that kind of leads me into the triggers. So I said when the user clicks on this button it will show this layer, but how do you make that action happen? So that's where you use your triggers, and if you talk yourself through the triggers you should be okay. So what we said was when the user clicks here, I want to show this layer. So I'll open up the trigger for that. So if I double click on the trigger, it will open here. So what is the action? So as I said, I wanted to show the layer. Then it's going to ask me, okay, which layer? So you pick from the list of ones that you've created. And when do you want that to happen? So we said when the user clicks. There's other options, double clicks, right clicks, user presses a key. Most of the time it's going to be when the user clicks. And then when the user clicks, what object? So we said when the user clicks group 2, which is this, as you can see it's highlighted. So then up along here you have your normal kind of PowerPointy things. So you have your font selection. I'm not going to go into all of that because it is the exact same as PowerPoint here. Insert, then you have your new slide, pictures, shapes, etc. There are some alternatives here like web object, which is kind of specific to Storyline, but again there's a separate document for that. That's how you will be importing your YouTube videos. And then over here, these three are very specific to Storyline. So your controls, so you have some inbuilt buttons. These are probably the main ones you'll use, not so much really with the radio buttons and checkboxes. They're all quite advanced. The markers then as well, so they come kind of pre-built. So if I select information, for example, and say I want it to go here on the screen, so what will happen is whatever information you put in here will display when the user either hovers or clicks the marker. So they're a great way to kind of show information, and this pulses. So if I preview the slide here just to show you kind of what it does. Now obviously there'd be no information behind it at the minute, but you can see it pulsing there, and when you hover the title will appear, and when you click the information will appear, but there's just nothing behind it at the minute. So let me see, is there anything else? Let me just bring this one out. So the design then, again, this is very similar to PowerPoint, so it's just a quick way to choose a design template. You can build your own, or you can choose kind of any of the ones that come with it as well. Transitions, so that's how you will go from one slide to another. The animations then are for objects that are on the screen. So if I put a shape on the screen here, then I can come to animations and say they're the exact same as PowerPoint really. You know, fly in, split, fade. Then view, I won't kind of cover anything that's really in here, you don't really need it, and there will be an extra document to go along with it. And then the format tab is when you have a shape on the screen if you wanted to edit it. So if I wanted to change the color, so for example I can put in a different color there. It's the same as PowerPoint, and you have your effects as well, the shadows and whatnot. And then on the home button again you have this player, preview and publish. So if you want to see what a slide will look like to the user, you can say preview this slide. Or you can preview the entire project. Honestly, that takes a little while though, so I generally just preview each slide individually just to make sure that my animations are right, my buttons are working and all that. And then you can just click close preview to go back to the main screen. And then publish, again, that's the last one, so that's how you'll be publishing it, maybe to put it on an LMS like Blackboard, or publishing it for the web. But there'll be a separate video I think to go along that one and tell you what you need to do there. So that's just giving you a kind of a brief overview. Thanks.